Greetings, everyone. Welcome. Hey, thanks for joining us here at the Squares of the Round Table podcast once more. I'm Mike Boyle, and with me is Jeff Stein. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing good. We're trying to get a podcast thing. We're doing the thing.
Yeah.
Ivan is running late. He decided to join the call at the bus stop.
Yeah.
Making an attempt to add to the conversation, and meanwhile, we're just picking up all the background sounds of the city with being motorcycles and buses and all kinds of crazy noises. So that didn't work at all. So we're starting over. So I'm glad you could join us here.
Yeah.
So let's get going. We just got it. With today's the 15th of May. We're in the middle of May already. Okay, so we're in the midst of the summer blockbuster season. Deadpool 2 comes out Friday. I'm super duper excited. Got my tickets. I'm ready.
Yeah. So you and I are so different on that. You're one of those people who it's like, I got my tickets. I'm ready to go. I have everything nailed down. I'll admit, I'm always one of these people where it's last minute, where I'm like, okay, I'll just find an off hour or an off time to try to get in and go see it.
Yes, I've got a couple of friends who come with me to see these, so we usually say like, okay, what day can we go? Okay, or who's gonna get the tickets? I'll get the tickets. Okay, who owes what the money? Okay, I'll just buy your dinner before we in the movie. Okay, or just give me nachos and that's good. So that's how that goes. That's why it's an event, because we get our tickets ahead of time. We like our good seats because we have assigned seating in our theater.
Yeah, I think most theaters at this point have the assigned seating. There's
so
very
nice.
few that don't at this point. I don't know. I get it, and then sometimes I'm just like, oh, do I really have to do that? But yeah, like I said, I'll probably see it sometime this weekend. I will admit, I was a little bit nervous when they switched directors, and I thought that could mean that this may not be as good. But from what we've seen from if you've seen any of the trailers, it's been pretty impressive. And as of late, there's been a lot of different promotion that's been out there. If you're watching social media like Facebook, you're seeing it, or Instagram or Twitter, where really Ryan Reynolds does an incredible job just basically being out there, and some of the pieces. And I think the most craziest thing is last week when they basically put out the Celine Dion song that apparently will be part of the Deadpool 2 soundtrack and movie.
Yeah, that was great. Loved it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're doing the big promotion junket here now.
Right.
There's something from TooFab where Ryan Reynolds and Josh Brolin were insulting each other for like 5 minutes, and that was pretty good.
Here's what's crazy. So the next big summer blockbuster also features Josh Brolin again.
Yeah. As
a different Marvel character than the Marvel character he played previously, which was Thanos. So is it the summer of Josh Brolin?
Maybe if we're lucky, Chris Evans can be the Human Torch again.
Yeah, for sure. Well, no. It's amazing. Have you ever... What's incredible is when you look at movies like that, like where Losers or the Fantastic Four, and you look at what Chris Evans looks like, and then you see Chris Evans now, and you're like, holy shit!
Yeah.
It's like, wow, he put on a lot of muscle and a lot of weight.
That's like Chris Pratt, like his early days from Parks and Rec. Look at him then, and then look at him now.
Yeah.
He got a trainer. It's not Disney money.
The only thing missing right now from the summer of Josh Brolin is the remake or the sequel for Hex.
Yeah, Jonah Hex. Yeah, isn't that's DC though?
We should we should have a sequel for Jonah Hex, because Josh Brolin's hot now. There's some executive at Warner's who's sitting there going, "Hey, we should get him back."
Get him back for Jonah Hex too.
Yeah, get him back for Jonah Hex too. Megan Fox is still hot. It could work.
I think she retired. I mean, she's not getting work.
Hey, speaking of, as long as we're talking hot women, I don't know if you heard about this. NBC is doing a spin-off for TV from Bad Boys 2.
I saw a headline for Bad Boys or something, and it had nothing to do with what was the guy's Will Smith and what's the other guy's name? Paul Bellamy.
Martin Lawrence. Someone put out an
Martin Lawrence. What? Paul? Where'd that name come from? Paul Bellamy. Anyway.
No, that Paul Bellamy. Someone put out an APB for Paul Bellamy too while you're at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, there's two announcements for Bad Boys. One is that they are doing another movie in 2020 with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and then the other is apparently they're doing a show that kind of picks up after Bad Boys 2, but it's based on Gabrielle Union's character from that show, where she plays Martin Lawrence's sister, the one who was dating Will Smith. Here's the amazing part. Of course, they decided to have her co-star be Jessica Alba. So
it's another actress you don't hear much from.
Yeah, but somewhere 30-something guys are like, okay, have to watch this show. But it could be interesting. That's it's something unique and different. I certainly give them credit. It's two decent-sized stars, and if it plays into the movie, that's even better. But yeah, supposedly this is something that's in development at NBC, which I thought was interesting. At least it's something unique and different, and I guess Jerry Bruckheimer is going to be on board and involved. So it's not like this is just some wacky
cash grab.
Yeah, some sort of crappy spin-off sequel or something like that. Apparently, some of the big people will be involved with it, and when you've got two names like Gabrielle Union and Jessica Alba, somewhere out there, I hate to say it, 20-year-old me is like, hello, this show would have been great, like in the late '90s, early 2000s. I mean, guys would have flocked to this show.
Well, we'll see. I never sat. I saw bits and pieces of the Bad Boys movies on cable, but I never sat through them.
Well, they are good. I did like the second one. It's pretty good. But yeah, like I said, I thought that was something unique and different. And who? I think Gabrielle Union's married to, right?
No.
Dwayne Wade, the basketball player.
Okay.
I love when this is the part where Mike doesn't know sports.
No. I don't know as much about sports as you do.
Right. Well, I don't know nearly as much about sports as I used to either.
Sometimes I watch the Bears, and hey, they get a home run. Yay.
It's funny you say that. A few years ago, I did Rooftop outside of Wrigley, and it was interesting because, you're up there, and it's just one giant eat fest. I mean, you get up there, and it's like, hey, we're going to have pizza. And, oh, by the way, for appetizers, we've got, like, hot dogs, Polish sausages, hamburgers. And, oh, by the way, in about an hour, you're going to have steak.
Nice.
And it's like, okay, all the beer, wine you can drink if you want to, but the interesting part is, it's like you're far enough away that unless they've got the radio on, you have no idea what's going on in the game. The only time you're aware of anything going on in the game is if somebody's cheering or booing from the stadium, because you can't see a thing. So, but it is amazing at night to see it from that perspective. It's incredible. I don't think I ever saw a day game version, but yeah, like I said, it's kind of crazy. Where do we want to go from here?
Well, we're talking television. Here's another story. Now, Lethal Weapon, another great franchise from the 80s that they brought over to television.
Yeah.
In a reboot. Well, there's a lot of turmoil over the replacement. Not the replacement. Apparently, the character, Riggs, is not going to be on the show. Damon Wayans, who plays Sergeant Murtaugh, who was originally Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah,
they've had some trouble with his co-star. The guy's name is Clayne Crawford. And now Damon Wayans. Now they've signed, or the timeline of this has happened. I guess is when they were filming season 2, some stuff went down. But as soon as season 3 was greenlit, they announced that they were not going to bring back Clayne Crawford as Riggs, but they're bringing on another actor who was the guy from
American Pie.
American Pie, Sean William Scott. Sean with 2 N's, apparently.
Yeah, the guy from what's one of the first movies with The Rock?
Yeah.
Rundown. Yeah, Rundown. But boy, that guy, that guy looked like he was going to be like a big, huge star because it was like he was like really popular during like the American Pie stuff, and then
and then it went nowhere.
Yeah, kind of did. I mean,
he was kind of like an Ashton Kutcher kind of clone.
Right. So. Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah.
Was funny for the time. I mean, it was kind of.
So now that the season's been greenlit and the actor's been formally removed from the series, and they're bringing in this other guy, now Damon Wayans is blasting his former Lethal Weapon co-star Clayne Crawford as a menace to everyone on the show's set and blaming him for the stunt that left him bloodied. This was from TMZ. Damon claims that Clayne smashed a male co-star in the mouth with a bottle and insists it was not an accident. Another thing about, I guess, Crawford directed a couple episodes. So Wayans is pissed because the stunt where he directed the episode, shrapnel cut the back of his head. So Damon is blaming him for a lack of safety measures on the set, calling him an emotional terrorist, saying he liked to make female actresses, obviously female actresses, actresses that are females, relished in making females cry and struck fear in their cast and crew. He had since deleted a tweet with a sticker that said, Clayne Crawford is an emotional terrorist. So, yeah, Damon says he waited until Fox picked up the show for its third season before dancing on Crawford's TV grave. So apparently this guy, oh well.
Have you watched this show at all or no?
I've seen some episodes. It's not bad. It's in the same kind of spirit, I guess, but just not the same without Joe Pesci.
Yeah, well,
it's that same kind of magic that maybe it's my 80s goggles on, Like I remember when it was 89 when my friends and I went to the drive-in theater here in McHenry Land, and we saw Batman and Lethal Weapon 2.
That's
Lethal Weapon 3. No, it was Lethal Weapon 2. And that was like, those were amazing times for me, late 80s. But anyway, yeah, Lethal Weapon, it's an okay show. Not hating it. But I guess this actor was being a dick, so good riddance, I guess.
Well, I mean, it like I said, it's funny. I haven't really felt the need to watch this show. I know some people like it. I haven't really watched it, but I will admit that them bringing in Sean William Scott might make me interested to watch the show, because I think it'll be interesting to see how he and Damon Wayans play off each other, and that might be interesting to me. Like I said, I haven't seen the show, but I do like Sean William Scott. But yeah, if anything, I wouldn't say it's exactly like it, but it does kind of have that 2.5 Men feel to it with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, right. Let's say like, oh man, is this gonna be like when they switch Darren's on Bewitched?
Yeah, or Becky's on Roseanne. Oh, did you catch that? Where they, with the Roseanne revival?
All the shitstorm about the Roseanne and all the political BS. No, I've played scant attention to it because it's not my show, not my thing.
But here's the thing. So here's what's funny about it. Because, they in the middle they switch Becky's, kind of like they switch Darren's. And in the show, in the new revival, they brought in the other Becky to play an entirely different role for a little while, which was kind of funny. And she was interacting with the other Becky in the storyline, and it was kind of a funny, unique thing. I thought it was kind of neat, something different. But yeah, there's a lot of throwbacks. Which, not only Roseanne, but there's Murphy Brown is supposedly being greenlit to come back on CBS, and then Fox brought Last Man Standing back from the dead off of ABC to helm their Friday nights. So it feels like we're kind of into the retro comedy or something along those lines. I just think they're having a hard time figuring out what to do with comedy these days.
I think television is having a hard time figuring out what television is doing. All these shows getting resurrected, not a lot of original stuff. It's a lot of premises that have come back. I don't know. It's an interesting time.
Here's the interesting thing about where TV is right now, and this is what's crazy. There are a lot of people who sit there and say, oh, TV is horrible. And I don't know what they're talking about. I think part of the problem at this point is, and actually I don't think it's a problem now that I really say it out loud. TV, there's so much, and there's so many options now, especially when you start looking at Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and all of these online platforms that you can go to.
Yeah.
That you don't even have to look at cable channels anymore. So you have the sprawling satellite/cable channels, and now you've got platforms all over the place, like for example, you've got your Netflix, you've got Hulu, you've got Amazon Prime. You know, if you like pro wrestling, the WWE has their own network. ABC is going to have their own over-the-top model network. I think the craziest thing, as long as we're talking about these different models, is I don't know if you're aware of this, Mike. DC Comics is launching what's called DC Universe, which is going to be an over-the-top model for them. And they have, I think so far, the programming for that is, the original programming is going to include a continuation of the Young Justice show that was on Cartoon Network, which is going to be season 3. They're going to do a live-action Titans based on the Teen Titans / Marv Wolfman, George Perez Titans that was popular from the 80s.
Right.
And then my understanding is they're doing a Harley Quinn cartoon that's, I think, going to be more based towards adults.
Was that still... I heard that project was in development. I heard Margot Robbie was going to voice Harley again.
Yeah, I think, well, there's movies, too.
Yeah.
There's movies that are being worked on, too, where she's going to be in it. But I think she's going to do the voice work for the cartoon. And then there's 2 live actions that are being worked on as well. And one was Swamp Thing that got announced a couple weeks ago for 2019. And then the other day announced was Doom Patrol is also getting a live action, which makes sense because from what I'm being told, Mike, the Doom Patrol show up in one of the episodes of Titans, which makes sense because Beast Boy is related to the Doom Patrol based on, what's her name? Rita Farr, who is his, I think I can't remember if it's natural mom or stepmom. You know, there's a relationship there. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see with the DC universe. Honestly, I don't know about you, Mike. I just don't know that I'm really willing to pay that kind of money. And the irony is, I'm a huge Titans fan. I really am. I've been waiting for most of my life to get something that isn't the dorky. And don't get me wrong, I like the kids show, but I really like a Titans series or movie finally that looks like what I saw, what I read, and I remember as a kid. And finally, I think we're going to get that. But unless they're going to add on some things like maybe some of the different cartoon movies that they've made over the years, or maybe some of the different movies or TV shows, and even then, I don't know. I mean, the only other thing I can think of, Mike, is if as part of the subscription they include digital comics.
No, the whole thing with Netflix is going to take a hit when Disney. It's all about the mouse. This is all reactionary to what's going on with the mouse right now.
Some of it is. But there's interesting stuff going on with that too, because there's talk about. So it's not just, there's 2 major deals right now in media which are going on and haven't been resolved. One is that Time Warner wants to merge/buy AT&T. And that's being held up by the United States government. I don't want to get into the politics of it, but there's issues there, and we're not sure if that's going to happen or not. And the interesting part is that may affect the other deal, which is Fox selling off pretty much everything but their news channels and their network to Disney. And
wasn't Comcast kind of in a bid for that?
Well, that's what I mean, because really Time Warner is part, so that's part of it too. There's a bid that may possibly happen depending on how all that works. With Time Warner is now talking about getting back into it, and I think maybe Universal. Somebody's talking about getting back into it. I think it might have been Universal with Comcast, and they're looking at doing a cash bid to go over the top, depending on what happens with Time Warner AT&T. And so it's really crazy because you've got a lot of these big media players that are seemingly trying to jockey for position in terms of delivery system and content. But in fairness, Mike, it's interesting because with Netflix, like you just said, the interesting part is Netflix has already started to counter what Disney's looking at doing, because they went out and got Shonda Rhimes, and I know that that's not a big thing for you, but she has had some major hits ironically for ABC. I was a little surprised they allowed that to happen. They signed Mark Millar, who's done Wanted and Kingsman, and quite a few other titles. And as a result, he's going to be producing movies and original content for shows. Not only that, my understanding is that there's going to be a Netflix comic imprint as well, thanks to this deal. And then I guess there's a rumor out there now that Designated Survivor that got canceled by ABC, it looks like Netflix is looking at possibly picking that up too. They're looking to gobble content, anything they can get their hands on to go to war. And I'm not sure what happens to the Marvel Netflix show. It's been kind of unclear if those shows die on Netflix, if those shows move to Disney, or if those shows would continue on Netflix. It's just not clear how that partnership's going to work.
Yeah, they're bound to lose viewership if they move their Netflix series off that platform.
Right. Well, and in fairness, it gives them more exposure someplace other than that. I know Disney's talking about the live-action Star Wars for their over-the-top model. That's something that they've talked about, and that's something that they're looking at. And they'll pull out some of the stops for what they're trying to do. But yeah, you're right. It's a crazy time. But when people say there's nothing on, I just kind of look at them and think they're crazy. I think that there's more TV than ever, especially given the fact that, there's a lot of times when you sit there and you say to somebody, okay, well, what did you watch? Well, I watched Netflix all weekend. Well, what'd you watch? Oh, I binge-watched 2 seasons of Game of Thrones. That wasn't available when we were kids.
No, we had to wait. It's like when we had to wait through 7 seasons of The Sopranos, they had to wait till every Sunday night.
Right.
And the following Monday, and everyone at work was talking about what happened, and we're all emailing each other because we didn't have not a lot of smartphones back then, so we're all emailing each other about what happened on The Sopranos the night before. So yeah, it was a different format. It's a different landscape, definitely. That video content is in right now, and some formats are struggling to adjust, and others are thriving. Yeah.
Well, again, what's really becoming clear is that a lot of these media companies, they're jockeying for position. But yeah, I mean, like, for example, this is how crazy it is now. Legends of Tomorrow, which is a CW show, the finale was back in sometime in early April, and now if you're on Netflix, you can watch the entire season already of Legends of Tomorrow. It's already available for you. You don't have to wait. It's right there for you. And you don't have to wait for it to come out on DVD or anything like that. It's there, and the content's there to go. My understanding is that's how Riverdale kind of spiked in its viewership too. Was some of these deals that CW made to bring a lot of their programming over to Netflix. But yeah, trying to think. But yeah, from a superhero perspective, I think the most interesting parts of we're talking a lot about TV because this week is what's called Upfronts, and Upfronts essentially is a lot of what's going to happen for the next coming year. And as of this recording between me and you, we haven't heard we haven't heard what's going on with CW and some of the other smaller players, but we do seem to have most of the bigger players. I think the interesting parts are Fox is moving Gotham to 2019, and it looks like it'll be a shortened season. And then I know you're a fan of the Orville. The Orville looks like it'll be in 2019 as well.
Yeah, we were hoping we'd get new episodes before the end of the year, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's okay. Worth the wait. They'll have some more time to get their writing in stride. And like I said, there was some strong writing, and I think it's still in a bit of identity crisis because everyone heard, oh, Seth MacFarlane's going to be Family Guy live action in space, and it wasn't. There were a few slapstick gags in this series, but sometimes they didn't fit because of the content of the episode or the writing of the episode didn't fit with some of the stuff. But it still was entertaining. I find it entertaining, and I liked it. I also liked Discovery, but I liked them for different reasons because of one is Star Trek, and B, one tries to be Star Trek, but it has that TNG feel. And this Discovery is just, I don't know, it's kind of like dark, edgy for the sake of it, but it's still not garbage.
Well, like I said, I watched a couple episodes of The Orville. Part of it is some of the preview material that was out there made it seem like it was going to be a mile-a-minute laughs, when really in reality they were just quirkier episodes of Star Trek. And my understanding is one of the major producers involved in some of the Star Trek shows was somebody that they brought in. So it does kind of have more of a Star Trek-y feel to it.
Oh, absolutely.
But I was a little surprised that it wasn't nearly as funny. It just seemed like it was more quirky.
Yeah. But, it's like a workplace comedy in space. I think that's what Seth made an analogy of it too.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Did you ever see a show on Fox called The Gifted?
Is that another sort of not the X-Men kind of show?
Yeah, it's more of a futuristic, the X-Men, where are they? It was a show that was done early in last fall. Did you catch any of it or no?
No.
Okay. I'll tell you that I'm glad to see it back on the schedule. I thought it had a lot of potential. I liked the look. I thought it was interesting. I thought the plot lines were worthwhile. It had some interesting questions as to how things fit in or how things didn't. I'm glad they brought it back, at least just to see where it goes, or if it's something that can continue. It's worth giving it a shot. It'll be interesting to see how well of a lead-in it is to Lethal Weapon with the new Lethal Weapon crew. But trying to look to see if there's anything else from Fox that would be of note that you'd be interested in.
Is there anything on the shopping? Is there anything on the chopping block? What shows have we lost?
On Fox?
In general.
Well, it's interesting. Fox chopped Brooklyn 911, and then it immediately ended up on NBC. So that ended up getting flipped over to NBC. The interesting part, like I said, is they brought back Last Man Standing, which ABC chopped about a year ago this time, and now they brought it back. Trying to think what else. Lucifer's gone. Yeah. Lucifer has been canceled.
And I tried watching that. It's like,
I didn't really. It wasn't something that's what's interesting, Mike. For all the people who say there's no good TV, half of my problem is that there's so much TV that I can watch right now. It's like after a while, I'm like, okay, I can't watch any more TV. It becomes okay. I got to pick and choose. But
right, there's only so much time in your day.
Yeah. So. Probably the most shocking, at least in my opinion, was ABC deciding that they were going to cancel Designated Survivor. Now, it's interesting, like I just said earlier, it looks like Netflix is talking about trying to pick up Designated Survivor on its own, which would be huge. I think that show's a great show. It's a very different platform for Kiefer Sutherland than 24, which I like. The other thing is obviously with The Shield. The Shield apparently not coming back. Or I'm sorry, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I keep wanting to call it The Shield.
Yeah, it's not coming back until after Avengers 4, which is interesting.
Yeah, after Avengers 4, which means we're talking about at the earliest sometime around now in 2019.
Yeah, which means if they're I don't know if have they filmed Avengers 4? I mean, did that wrap?
I think they filmed bits and pieces, and I think that they may be doing some touch-up scenes and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that they're almost pretty much done with Avengers 4.
Which means they should start filming Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now that's going to air next year.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what they are or aren't doing with Avengers 4, and that's.
Yeah. And out of courtesy, we'll keep the Infinity War spoilers off this episode. So
We'll try to keep that open.
In case you didn't listen to the first one or the previous one, so.
Right, and like I said, our previous episode, which is up, and you can go where again, Mike? Where can you go?
It's on YouTube right now. It's also posted linked to our Facebook page, Squares the Round Table Podcast. So you can find that, and hopefully within the next month or so, we'll have a podcasting format where you can download the episodes as well.
Yeah,
not just to YouTube. So it's coming.
Yeah, we're working on that.
That's right.
I think the most interesting part is, it was right before we went to go on air. They do have some of these different trailers for the new shows that are coming out, and ABC has a trailer for a show called The Rookie, and the reason why I'm mentioning this is because it features Nathan Fillion, and it's basically along the lines of all of a sudden he kind of has like this midlife crisis and decides he wants to be a cop. And I'm kind of looking at this and I'm like, why would you? I don't know. I don't get it. I'm kind of confused as to what the point is or what's the appeal, or other than, okay, I do like Nathan Fillion.
But it's just another cop show.
Well, and it's weird because it's like, who's your target audience here? Middle-aged white dudes who are having life crisis? Is that kind of your target? I mean, I guess you could go there. I don't know. It doesn't speak to me.
I don't know.
Maybe it'll be okay, and maybe it'll work.
Yeah. Well, speaking of trailers, did you see the trailer for Bohemian Rhapsody?
No, I did not yet.
Yeah, the trailer dropped, and what's that guy from that show, Mr. Robot, is going to play Freddie Mercury?
Oh, is he? Okay.
Let me pull the article up. I've got it here. It's from the Wrap. The director, writer and producer Brian Fuller is accusing 20th Century Fox of hetero-washing the story of Freddie Mercury in a new trailer and marketing materials for the biopic Bohemian Rhapsody. Because Freddie Mercury was bi. In the trailer, he's dancing or with a woman or something, and he gives a guy a wink or something. So in the trailer, they downplayed his sexuality. And the writer and producer is upset. But anyway, it looks good. I guess Sacha Baron Cohen was originally going to be Freddie Mercury, and that didn't work out very well.
Oh, no, that doesn't sound like a good idea.
And then the rare move, they had Bryan Singer directing for a while, but then they fired him halfway through shooting. But it's scheduled for release in November.
Okay.
But it looks good. And it looks like the guy, I like these musical biopics.
Yeah, no, I'm not against them. I'm just, I'll have to take a look at it. I know they're calling. I know I saw it. I did not get a chance to look at the.
Yeah, it looks good.
So,
gives that kind of Val Kilmer Doors kind of vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks good. Yeah, I'll go see it. Another movie I need to see this year. Holy crap! This is going to be an expensive year this year.
Yeah, no, there's some decent movies coming out this summer still too. But hey, one other quick thing, NBC, and I haven't figured out whether I want to get invested in this show or not. There's a show that NBC is bringing in called Manifest, which apparently that there's a airplane that lands safely and shows up and when it lands, it shows up 5 years later than when it was.
Oh.
And I saw the trailer for it, and I can put it up at the Facebook page. I'll put it on there so that they can take a look at it and see what they think. But I thought it looks interesting. My only concern is that with shows like this, it's either kind of a feast or famine or sink or swim kind of thing, where it's either this show's going to be great and it's going to go a few seasons, or it's going to be done as soon as the run is done, if you know what I mean. There is no in between with a show like this.
Yeah, that could make some good drama between like
Yeah.
individual characters and how they have to return to their lives after being thought they were gone for 5 years.
Hmm. Well, the
You know?
interesting part is the way that they're explaining this is the people who are on the plane. It'll be like they took a routine flight for like whatever amount of time it was to until they landed. But for everybody else, supposedly it's been 5 years. And obviously there's something more to it, obviously. So, but we don't know what that is. There's deeper mystery that'll be unfolded. But
Hmm.
yeah, I again, this could be worthwhile. Again, I'm kind of looking through. Like I said, we don't have CBS and CW. I believe are later this week, so it'll be interesting to see what they do in terms of what they're doing. But yeah, like I said, there's been some things that have been removed. It looks like it's the end of Gotham and probably Agents of Shield here in the next year. But we'll see. I know that there's other places where stuff's coming on, like Cloak and Dagger's coming on to onto Freeform, which I haven't really looked at yet.
So yeah,
But
I suppose that's all we have for tonight. There's one other thing, I guess. Well, I know we're not big on video gaming. We're both kind of casual. You're in a gaming group, and I'm just somewhat.
Yeah.
Sometimes, occasionally, I get a couple of guys together where we just have a gaming session.
hmm
As far as video gaming, I guess this game's been out for about a year now. This is a Star Trek Bridge Crew, where we're in the VR, where you wear VR goggles and everyone is a different bridge crew member. Like one guy is the captain, one guy's the helmsman, one guy's the engineer. So that's interesting. But
there's a generic version of that, but I can't remember the name. I played it. Oh, this is gonna kill me. Where it's something very similar to that, but it doesn't have the Star Trek branding.
yeah, I'd love to try it, but the last time I wore VR goggles gave me motion sickness. So I know I'm just sitting in my chair, but looking around, I don't know, it just gave me. I was disoriented, so I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Well,
I can't go on roller coasters.
I think the craziest part is I'm seeing all kinds of articles about how like role playing is hot again, like real tabletop role playing.
Yep.
And literally, we're like, and I have to look into this. Supposedly, there are people getting paid just to play role playing games, where people are watching people on YouTube play role playing games, and that is just beyond me. I can't believe it. But that's crazy.
Maybe we can get hired to watch other podcasters do podcasts.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to really happen. But well, what else was I going? Oh, hey, did you ever see Zombieland?
Of course. What was that? What, Woody Harrelson?
Yeah, Woody Harrelson.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, cardio. Rule number 1, cardio. Of course.
Yeah, rule number 1, cardio. Well, apparently there'll be some new rules because the writers of Deadpool 2 also wrote the original Zombieland, and they're talking about that there will be a sequel in 2019.
Okay.
So I'm a little surprised about that. I mean, that's like 10 years since the
It's
first.
been like, I saw that movie in like 2011, 2012, and that wasn't even new back then.
Yeah, I think I may have seen it a few times. Going forward. But hey, look, it's Ivan.
Hey, Ivan.
Hey, boys, how we doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing much better now that I'm in where the place I'm supposed to be.
The friendly confines. All right.
Yeah, it took me a while to get here, boys. Really sorry about that. I mean, Chicago Transit Authority, not the most speedy of transportation modes.
That's fine. That's all good.
Yeah, man.
All right.
So how was your day?
My day? Well, my day consisted of a situation. Well, my beloved Julie, went back to Indiana to take care of her guy. She's a housekeeper, and she takes care of a 98-year-old man. And it's amazing, the story she comes back with and tells me. Well, she went to go take care of that, and then she's got some church things that she does, so she's involved in that tonight. And though what happened was, after she left, this guy Edwin that I was supposed to have come over, well, he ran late today. Then he calls me up, after I call him back, and it's just like, where are you? And he's like, well, I got behind the 8 ball, Ivan. I'm sorry. And I'm like, well, I understand. I was more worried about you than just, the situation because of everything going on with you, Ed. And he goes, so we're okay? And I'm like, of course we're okay. As long as you're all right, it's okay. I mean, things happen. Life happens. No worries. So then I went ahead and I got a call from my friend Nathan. And Nathan goes, I'm coming with my 2 girls to the record store. Are you there? And I'm thinking, no. So I go ahead and I text him back and I says, fine. Now, if you're coming with your kids, let's make it worth your while. I'll be right down. So in hindsight, my lovely Julie forgot to leave me money to take the buses and stuff. So yours truly over here decided to go on a big hike. So I ended up walking from here, from my home, all the way to work, which roughly translates to like maybe 3 miles. And I made it in and I did what I had to do, and, I set my phone down at the charger and everything, and, well, obviously wasn't privy to the situation because me being delayed, and I apologize for that again. And then I tried to rectify it by trying to go live while I have the whole world happening around me. So, anyway. But, yeah, other than that, just life going good. On Friday, May 18th, we're doing a thing over at the arcade. Over at Logan Arcade, 2410 West Fullerton. We got a little event going on. It's called, Hello Earth. It's with a cat that's been making the rounds on social media. Okay, and
yeah, Little Bub.
Yeah, Little Bub. So, Little Bub, some game designers went ahead and created a video game for Little Bub, and we're going to feature it on Friday. And Little Bub himself is going to be there in person.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it's a pretty cool event. I mean, we're having drink specials and several of the games on free play and everything like that. So that's a pretty exciting thing. Then tomorrow, I'll be at the arcade as well because that's my Out of the Satchel night, which I go ahead and I just let everything hang out musically, whatever the flavor of the day is that day, well, that's what gets played. And been lining up a big string of really good DJs for the 23rd and the 30th, so I've been busy taking care of that.
What kind of music they play?
Huh?
What kind of music they play when you say DJs?
Well, okay, the month is made up of different DJs. Like on the first Wednesday of the month, we have a pair called DJ 78 and DJ BMC. They're known as the Rent Party Gang. And basically they do a lot of disco, they do a lot of house music, they do a lot of dance music. That's their forte. There's actually 5 in the team, and they kind of alternate, from month to month because it's a once-a-month event. Second Wednesday, we have Dijon Holiday, the superhero soul. I featured him prominently for about a year. In other words, he came with me. We did the nights together. We split the kitty, and then finally in January of the year, I says, you know what, dude, you've carried your weight here for this situation. It's now all you. So now Dijon Holiday now does the superhero soul, which is all soul music, and of course the genre that the British call Northern Soul. He plays all that kind of music, a lot of Motown, that type of thing, a lot of late 50s, 60s, early 70s stuff.
I just want to know you split a kitty.
Huh?
You split it like by the legs? You split it down the middle?
It's kind of like what Ultraman does with monsters. Have you ever seen an episode of Ultraman?
Not in a long time.
If you watch any of the Ultraman episodes, you know how he always shoots out the beam from his hand, and all the monsters end up splitting down the middle. Well, that's how we split our kitty, right down the middle.
For the record, kitty means money.
Yeah. Yeah, the kitty. Yeah, because the word kitty. Can I go into this dialogue for about a minute? Okay, well, the word kitty comes from a bush game technique that was very common in the days of minstrelsy and in the vaudeville shows. So basically, there was a little, cutout and pop up of a kitty with its mouth open, and you end up throwing your tips into the kitty. So that's why, and of course, the frame "Feed the Kitty" came into existence. And so for many, many years, the clubs adapted to it. So that's why they would announce it as such. Hey, guys, be good to your bartenders and make sure you feed the kitty. So we took our kitty, which the money we make, we split the kitty right down the center. So that's the origin of kitty.
I always thought those were little cats.
They are little cats, but in the term, the way it's slang for it's club slang. So so that being said,
hey, speaking of slang, hey Mike, what was the text that you got from Ivan earlier when he was running late?
Okay. He was just abbreviating random curse words.
Apparently so.
But we had to look it up because we weren't sure, but...
Yeah. So the text was what? You got SDHF.
Yep.
And we thought when I went to go Google it, and immediately what comes up is the Singapore Dental Health Foundation.
That was my first guess.
Yeah, that was one of them. I think my other one, Standard Dutch Whole Form. That was Standard Dutch Whole Form anyway. Let's see, what else do we get? I think there was one that was, where is it?
Something about Sled Dogs Association or something?
No, hold on. The San Diego Housing Federation. Yeah, that's definitely what we were thinking. And then I think it was the Show Dogs Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Yep.
Yeah.
Show Dogs Hall of Fame. That was the one you came up with.
Okay.
And really, it was 4 things that you shouldn't say on the radio according to Carlin, but since it's a podcast, nobody cares.
Yeah, so the abbreviation for shit, damn, hell, fuck, I just... Actually, I can't lay claim to that. In fact, it's a line from a movie. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I guess the man just got injured, and the string of words, shit, damn, hell, fuck, just kind of all in one rapid fire succession.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, you abbreviated it as if sort of like OMG or LOL, like we would understand what that means.
I guess I was taking a shot. I just didn't want to. I was so cattywampus with what had happened and everything. I tried to get the message out as fast as I possibly could.
I don't want to have to know anything about your cattywampus. I am not into that kind of thing.
Cattywampus is actually a word. You should Google it.
All right.
No, I might come up with something wacky.
No, it's another slang word, and of course, Mike's known for years. Well, as you've known for years, I tend to kind of, swing the slang around a little bit. Slinging over here. Hey, Marley, what are you doing? No, you can't tear up the jacket.
Has the cat knocked over any records?
Yeah, he did. He knocked over another pile again. I walked in on it, but I was a little more patient today.
I want to know where you live, because really, in reality, I think the records live there. I don't know where you live.
You're not far from incorrect. I mean, you see all my Facebook post pictures and things, and all my posts, and in the frame of whatever it is I'm taking a shot at, there's a stack of records there someplace.
Yeah, just like me. Ivan's apartment has stacks of records. My house is just totes of action figures.
I have, the move helped. I cleaned up quite a bit. I do not have what I used to. I got rid of practically every comic book I owned.
Wow.
That was I kept a few things, but really in reality, I cleaned house, which was a nice thing to do. I don't have a lot of that stuff anymore, which was nice because I had way too much of it. I think I had every comic I owned since I was 7.
It's amazing.
How many records do you have at this point, Ivan?
Well, how many records do I have now?
Yeah, now. Oh, 5 years ago.
Okay. Well, roughly, before I started at Logan Hardware Records, I was roughly at 18,000. Okay.
18,000.
Okay. Now I can say with pretty much certainty I'm at the 22,000 mark right now.
22,000 records. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, and then of course I collected all 3 speeds too, so I've got it all comes from all over the generations, all over the decades.
Yeah. All 3 speeds: rock and roll, country, and western.
There you go.
Well, I've been an enabler in that sense though too, but that's good that you were able to declutter, Jeff.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good. Eventually, I'll have to trim the fat from the. Trim the lean from the fat, soon enough. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
So eventually, starting in the next couple of years, I'm going to start definitely.
Starting in a couple of years, when you get around to it.
Whenever we get to
it. Pretty much. When I get around to it, I'll go ahead and I'll start getting the fat out of here and everything, because I know I've got. All kinds of doubles and things like that. It's just, that's the thing about being at a record store. You just, there's just so much cool stuff, and it's just, and then when you're able to take a little of the store with you per se, then it's easy. I mean, it'd be just like if you worked at a toy store, Mike. It'd be just like
we wouldn't get paychecks, we'd get invoices.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be like, okay, this is short pack. They won't miss this one.
No.
What was that whole thing? Oh, yeah, here it is. I was looking for that joke there. That I tried that Japanese decluttering trend where you hold each thing you own and throw it out if it doesn't give you joy. So far, I've thrown out all the vegetables and the electric bill.
But I'm bummed.
That's good. Wow. But yeah, I'm sorry. It's just that every piece of vinyl brings me such great joy, and I can't get past it. I mean, I am as nerdy and as geeky as they get as far as like being a record collector. I mean, it's I can't imagine myself ever not doing what I do, because it gives me such joy, but it gives such joy to so many other people. I mean, at least that's what I hope I do in this thing called life, in this span called life, So, I'm sure one of these days I'll declutter, but I guess I'm just not ready yet.
What's the most recent title you have?
Huh?
What's the most recent record? Year? What year?
My most recent record, the most recent record I have is actually Ween. I have a Ween album that actually,
Okay.
or actually I heard a Ween album, I should say. Yeah, that's the most recent thing I've heard, but because I heard that tonight. But as far as like one I own, most recent, Okay, I know I got a bunch of stuff from the 2000s. I got a few Pearl Jams. I got a few Nirvanas from the 90s. I got a few. I would have to say like the mid 2000, like 2004, 2005. But then the oldest record I got in my place is from 1898.
1898.
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
Okay, well, there was competition for the formats back in the early part of the last century, and well, you had cylinders which looked like little toilet paper cones with wax all over them, and then you had Ermil Berliner's flat record, which and the first one of those actually came out, and then the company that made those later became Victor. Or and then later on down the line, when radio was becoming a prevalent entertainment form, then it became RCA Victor. But somebody I got.
What's the name of the track?
The name of the track?
Yeah.
The name of the track is Billy Jones and Ada Jones. Billy Billy. Let me see. Billy James and Ada Stone. Yeah, it was June Moon.
Oh, and it wasn't until the Thriller album where we finally got the sequel to that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billie Jean.
Yeah, I don't think I got that at all. I think that went way over Ivan's head.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it now.
That's
Okay, yeah,
the
almost
joke.
put past me. Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm a little dull, after a long day, but yeah. But
That's not true. You're always dull. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, you know what? You're right. I mean, it's
Hey, so Mike,
see when you
talk about this. What have you? For those who aren't aware, Mike does incredible impressions.
I do?
You do?
I do?
I thought you did.
yes, you do.
Yeah.
Who you got these days, Mike? I know some of the people you got. Who you got?
What do you mean, who I got? What do
Who
I
do you
got?
got? Can you do Trump?
Well, who doesn't this day, nowadays?
I
Every
don't
cold
know.
open, every Saturday Night Live, it's Alec Baldwin.
What's the most your one you got, Mike?
Off the top of my head, no one really right now. Really, what can I say?
I know you do Harry Carey.
Oh yeah, Harry Carey. Well, the Cubs are. How many did they win against the Sox?
2 out of 3, I think.
Hi everybody. Hey, have a nice cold Budweiser.
He still's got it, Jeff.
Oh yeah.
Dunston at the plate. Sean Dunston, for those who might not know.
That is
Oh my gosh. Can you still do the Riddler, Mike?
Well, the Riddler I did for Batman and Jimmy Save Christmas from 20 years ago. God, it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Was kind of like a cross between who were the two actors that played the Riddler? Not
Frank
the guy
Gorshin?
from the Addams Family, but the other one.
Frank Gorshin.
Frank Gorshin, thank you. Yeah, but it hurts. It hurts now to do. Farewell, Batman and Jimi Hendrix.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah,
That was good.
no.
That was good. I mean, I still marvel at that piece of radio work, Mike. I mean, that still remains to be one of the favorite things we ever did.
Yeah, we'll put that on. We'll post a link to the squares around the holidays of a little bit.
I'm trying to think who else.
You know, we should also put the other one out there, which we don't do as often. It's a Wonderful Weave.
Oh my goodness! You still have that on audio somewhere, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you need to get that to me so I can convert it to a format where it can be posted to the YouTubes.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll make it happen.
That had my Jimmy Stewart impression as Clarence the Angel, where I intervene with Ivan's life. Because Jeff, and Ivan are having a really bad radio show. And Ivan's like, oh, man, this radio show sucks today. Wish I'd never been born. And so here comes Clarence at Angel Second Class. And here, I'm going to show you that you've never been born, Ivan.
I think we need.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean I've never been born?
So I go off to become a professional voice actor, and Jeff does professional sports commentary. But we both have brief, our
Careers?
lives go out in a blaze of glory.
Nikki
Ivan is sad
Taylor.
that we've had short, successful lives, so
Yeah.
he wants to go back to the wonderful weef.
The scary part is that was true. We had short, successful lives.
Yes.
Superstar Nikki Taylor, I think, was the girl you were enamored
Cover girl
over.
Nikki Taylor.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend broke up with me, so I crashed
You go
my
over-
car in a Hanna-Barbera sound effect explosion.
That was great when we found those sound effects in that Hanna-Barbera sound effects library.
Yeah, that really helped Batman and Jimmy Save Christmas.
Let's
Yeah.
be clear, we didn't find them. We appropriated them.
We borrowed them.
We
They were
borrowed.
borrowed. And this is before the
borrowed
internet,
them.
too, so we all had to find them all on, like, big CD archives.
Oh, that's not where we found it, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, those
there
were
were
great
there were a
times
bunch
going
on
past,
albums
so.
too. Remember?
What was that, Ivan?
I'm sorry, Dave. We found a bunch of those on albums too.
Yeah, some of the audio sound effects did come from vinyl. Of course,
Those were a lot of fun, you know, and the fact that we dubbed Jeff's voice in because he had recorded everything on CART. Remember?
yeah, we've got some great stories coming in 2 weeks. Oh, as 2 weeks as of the airing of this episode, we'll have some great stories to share from our old radio days.
Yes.
So
Well,
anyway,
enjoy the little
Hey,
adventure.
Gentlemen, I have the ultimate way we go out. This
Okay.
is important. Apparently, this is important. The Wisconsin police are probing the theft of front yard goat statues.
What?
goat statues is a thing in Wisconsin?
Goat statues? Like duck statues?
Like goats.
Statues
Like
of goats.
Goat statues. Apparently, a Wisconsin police department shared a security camera footage from a theft of two highly unusual items, a pair of goat statues. The village of East Troy Police Department posted a video on Facebook showing footage recorded early in the morning of the morning hours of May 3rd by a home outdoor security camera. The footage shows a person getting out of the car with their face hidden to take two lawn ornaments from next to the house porch. Police added a comment on other posts. The other ornaments were the pair of goat statues.
Oh my God.
God bless America.
Well, you know,
Okay.
what would you expect from Wisconsin? I mean, seriously, you know, what else are they going to do? It's 3 a.m. They're drunk out of their gourds. What do you think was going to happen?
Little goat theft happening there.
Yeah.
I mean, and my question is, are those the same type of goats that the people, you have these people on the lawns that have like those ducks that they used to have outfits for?
Oh, hold on a second. I should send you the picture. You guys can take a look at this in the chat. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
You guys.
Okay.
You look for that picture in the chat. I got one more story to share. Apparently, NASA is sending drones to Mars. We're sending a helicopter drone to Mars because, hey, why not? We can fly drones everywhere, and it's the American culture.
Everywhere in the world and in outer space.
We're sending a drone to Mars so we can fly around.
Don't we have a gazillion pictures from the Hubble satellite of Mars?
We have satellite photos, but now we can get drone
Now we can actually get probes and terrain and all that other type of
NASA
stuff.
drone cam. Woo!
Seriously.
Oh boy, I'm going to go into this tunnel. And what's at the end of this tunnel? Fire!
There are no tunnels on Mars. Oh, who knows? Maybe they will find tunnels on Mars.
Yeah.
They'll find Quaid. Start the reactor. Get your ass to Mars. So Jeff sent the picture, and that looks like a real. Okay, that's a miniature goat statue in front of a real goat, I guess.
No, that's also a goat statue, which begs the question: why do they have goat statues at all? And why do they look like?
Why do they have duck statues? I mean, I guess it's some kind of crazy aesthetic thing.
We have these I've seen these gnome statues where they're like your garden gnomes, but they're garden gnomes that are holding up signs that say "Go away" or "Bite me."
Stay off my lawn. Stay off my lawn.
It's a big one, and I'm kind of like, okay, is it just me, or does it look like some sort of satanic goat? I mean,
goats is nature's lawnmower.
Right, exactly. Don't they eat most anything, goats? But yet people drink goat milk. But then people drink goat milk. Would you want to drink milk from a goat knowing that the goat is eating all kinds of stuff?
This goes back to the whole concept of the fact that sometimes I haven't found any good stories lately from people from Kentucky. Because people from Kentucky do weird things. People from Kentucky and rural areas of Florida, those people do crazy stuff that doesn't make any sense. It's nuts. But we cannot forget, my friends, the people from Wisconsin, because that entire state gets drunk off their gourd, and what happens is at 3 a.m. they get bored out of their mind and steal goat statues. God knows what they do with the goat statues. I don't even want to think about that.
Going into that whole thing, yeah, it's just too odd for me. I mean, what would you do, in Wisconsin at 3 a.m. with a goat statue?
Well, do you really want to know the answer to that question?
Well, that's all the time we have this week for Squares of the Round Table podcast. We appreciate you listening.
Well, that's good timing. I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Catch us on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. Give us an email if you have any questions, comments, insults, beratements,
criticisms.
Ivan's bus schedule.
Yeah.
Send it to SOTRTpodcast@gmail.com. We appreciate your questions and comments.
Really
Yep.
do. Thanks. And, yeah, sorry for my melee. I'll be better about it next time.
Yeah, and we are on Facebook and coming soon to a podcast hosting format. So
Well,
please join us next week where I'm probably going to spoil Deadpool 2 for everybody.
Yeah, we'll probably talk a little bit about Deadpool 2. We didn't get the Krypton, but that's good because I think you're a few episodes behind, and I want to kind of do it non-spoiler.
Yep.
But
Maybe we should wait till the season's over and then we could do a full dump.
yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah.
By the way, did you
Tease them some more.
actually? You know what? You know what we should talk about next time? We should talk
What's that?
about the Legends of Tomorrow season that wrapped up, because there's one episode, Mike, that you need to see, because it's important that you understand that there is one true God, that is the Bebo, God of War.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
All right, man.
Well, we'll tease that for next week.
Okay.
All right. We'll definitely tease that, and as we'll keep on teasing you out there, because we are the Squares of the Round Table. I'm Ivan Rivera.
I'm Jeff Stein.
I'm Mike Boyle. Thanks for listening, and thanks for stopping in, and we appreciate it.
Hanging out. Thank
Yep.
you.